Hey yo, it's your boy Sam Duke,
It's your man Ted McHale.
It's your boy Warren P.
and you are listening or watching another great episode of You
You
Good,
good,
Bruh?
bruh?
Bruh. I was a little early, my bad.
Yes. Look, man. Look, first of all, we're three
I'm
different
excited.
places.
Yeah.
First of all, we're in three different places. The timing. But the funny thing though is when I go back and watch these, it usually lines up pretty good. It's just based on the internet. Three different internets, three different mics, three different cameras.
Yeah, brought together.
Brought together like a beautiful chorus, my
Right.
people. Well, yes. Thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for coming. Before you start, please, if you have not, go ahead and subscribe, like, share. Let people know that you're listening to the podcast. Been a while, fellas. How you guys doing today?
For me, honestly, it's kind of ass, but it is what it is. It's life is life. Yeah, it's just I'm still processing some losses. Some people that were near and dear to me. So pushing through that. That's about it. Looking for the new normal.
I'm sorry to hear about your loss, my brother.
Yeah, me too.
Definitely sorry to hear about that.
Me too.
It just seems as if loss is just all over right now. Like,
Yeah,
everybody's dealing with some.
Yeah, we taking losses, bro. I'm looking for the
L's.
W. I'm looking for the W. I'm looking for the sunrise. The other side of the storm. All those cliches and metaphors. But yeah, that's where I am today. Just taking in the significance of the losses.
I'm sorry to hear that, brother. Once again,
Thank you.
It's never good to be in a space where you lost something that
Mm-hmm.
something to someone that you love. What about you, Warren?
I celebrate 4 years of marriage tomorrow.
40 years of marriage. You look
You
young,
said-
brother.
Oh, I heard 42.
I heard 40, bro. 4 years.
Apologies.
Congratulations,
I
Mike.
celebrate 4 years of
Freudian
marriage
slip.
tomorrow. Yeah. I mean, hey, that's the goal.
The
Right.
goal is 40.
So-
Shit.
So yeah, 40 plus. So
Do it.
that's a blessing within itself,
Amen.
To
Happy anniversary.
we went on. Thank you. We went on vacation, last week, and while there, wife sleep, and I'm just sitting thinking about where we're at in life. To be blessed to have somebody that has your best interest, that you love, and they love you back through the ups, the downs. Like, you would die for this person, that person would die for you. The relationships that, I've been able to build with her family, like my nieces, have helped me to become a better man. Learning how to be a better person, especially when it comes to the relationship aspects of having those friendships with women. One of my best friends that I hadn't talked to in 2-3 years, we had a little falling off. We had our first conversation, say a week and a half ago. She's a woman, and she was telling me some things. Yeah, no, I'm saying, like, she was telling me some things in our last conversation that made us fall off.
You're like she's a woman.
Yeah, like, you're right.
It's like, what else is she?
Yeah. Hey, man,
Just in case you guys was wondering, she is
a woman. Like, she would that be a woman.
No. But in when we fell off, I honestly, for a good amount of time, I had no clue why we fell off. And then she had expressed to me some things to whereas I didn't create an environment to whereas she felt appreciated and loved in our conversation, because it was a heated conversation. And my wife and dealing with my nieces have taught me that y'all know, y'all listen to the pod. I can be a little brash and extra aggressive.
Not you.
So
Not, you?
yeah.
Nah, no way. No way.
You know, when we had our conversation this past time, I was able to reflect on the things I've learned from, dealing with my nieces and my wife and having a constructive conversation, listening more, trying to understand from a woman's perspective what was going on, where I went, awry in the conversation. And all those things circumvent back to, my relationship with my wife, the things that we have built over time, the learning lessons, the people she's introduced me to, the love that she has for me, has helped me to be a better and more mature man. I'm excited about tomorrow just because, it's a date of remembrance and celebration. So I'm good. Outside, I have a little heartburn right now, which is the most annoying thing in the world. I'm blessed.
Yeah.
You just got to burp. You need to burp.
Man, I've been doing that for the past 2-3 days.
I was to say, bro. Was it the probiotics or prebiotics? You have to get that thing, get them things
Right.
rolling.
I hate this shit.
But,
Yeah, but outside of that, I'm great.
I'm glad to hear you doing good, brother.
How about you, brother?
I am okay.
Yeah, me too.
I'm okay. I think I'm in a place of more than ever. I think right now I'm in a place of self discovery. Less of discovering who I am, but discovering why I am is where I'm at right now in life. I think something I've been charged with, and I kind of am seeing as a recurring little thing is just kind of trying to figure out why I am the way I am, why I do what I do. As someone who has always been super introspective, I think it's a cool season to be in. It's challenging in a way because you're gonna be challenged in just thinking about yourself and what makes you who you are.
I can see that.
But at the same time, I think for me, I'm always looking like, okay, I know for a fact that if I face whatever it is, I'll come out better for it. And I won't necessarily, because I don't really know what the problem is. Because I don't have a problem right now. I think it's more so that when you get in a space where things are good, but you still feel some type of way. You know what I'm saying? You still have these emotions about certain things, and you still kind of you're still pensive, that kind of thing. You kind of in a space where you're waiting on the other shoe to drop, or even in a space where maybe somebody can agree with me. You feel like you want to self-sabotage, you want to do something that's outside of what's to your benefit. You kind of ask yourself, why the fuck am I doing that? Why am I
What are
going
you angry about?
Yeah, what am I uneasy about it? What am I looking for that I'm not getting right now? That kind of thing. And so right now I'm in a space where it's just I'm checking in to try to make sure I've unpacked what I need to unpack in life. And so it's a self-discovery. It's like once again it's scary, but at the same time I think that it's going to be beneficial. So that's where I'm at right now, and I think that in the future I may have some funny thing, by the way. I my journey of self-discovery may end up in me doing maybe like a amateur stand-up or some shit. Like I just figured that
I'm with it.
I fucks with that.
because I all of my journeys, I always like my journeys to culminate in some type of like, I can put a cap on it. You know what I'm saying? And so there's been some things I've thought about, like as I've started working through like my bullshit that I thought was just, now as a grown up, like that shit was funny as fuck. You know what I'm saying? And Mikkel knows because we have these conversations. I'd be like, this shit happened. He's like, bro, that shit is crazy as hell. But anyway, the point is, I think it may culminate in, it may be a hot 10 minutes. Like
that's stand up. That's a stand up session.
And a hot 10 minutes. But that's that, man. So today, with that being said, I'm going through this journey of like trying to discover and get an understanding of what's going on. But I haven't always known, what I got going on. You know what I'm saying? That sometimes that's a difficult aspect. I think that's where the pensive piece comes in, Mikhail, is being a man and still having parts of or aspects of life that you just don't know can end up being a little bit uneasy, and I think Warren brought this up, and so I want him to set the table for me and for us for this conversation that we're about to have about the not knowing.
Okay. This was a conversation I had with a very close friend of mine, say about a week ago. It's about not knowing. And as far as us for Black men, I can't speak on anybody else, but we are led to believe that we should know everything, whether it's in leadership, something simple as knowing the directions. For those of us who grew up in a time before GPS was there, there used to be jokes about men not asking other men for directions. Like you just like
we have map quiz.
Like something as simple as that, or let's say, you come through a challenging situation with your family members, work, whatever it may be, and there's an expectation put on you to where you're supposed to figure out and know exactly what to do.
No question.
And not reach out for help. Like, nah, you figure it out. You a man, you X, Y, and Z situation you have no experience in at all, but and how that can affect your mental health, how that can, make you discredit yourself or not believe in yourself. And I brought this topic to the guys because it hit close to home, with different situations, alluding to the conversation I had with my best friend earlier, or just, as I go on my career journey, like you look around and you'll see people 10, 15, maybe 20 years in their career. And on my end, like, I still feel like I'm trying to figure it out what it is God wants me to do. Like, as far as a human being, I know what I'm supposed to do in this world, but as far as like career destiny, from a career aspect, like, okay, what is it that you want from me, God? And then I'll see other people who are in those careers making great money, but they fucking hate life. Like, they hate what they do. And that not knowing of like what it is and how it can affect you and what can we do, and just wanted to bring that discussion to the table of like, have any other brothers or those, and then this ain't just for men as well. I'm sure there are plenty of women listening to this as well who have that not knowing aspect and how it affects them mentally and emotionally. But that's what the topic that I want to bring to the table for the brothers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what Sam's approach to it, but for me, I think part of what kind of gives us anxiety about being the man of the house is most people take note of what people do wrong, and they don't really take note of what they do right. And everything you learn, you're taught. So if you are facing something that you don't know how to do, the first thought is, oh man, my mom and dad didn't teach me about this. A good example is finances. They always tell you don't get the credit card, but they don't tell you why. That type of thing. And then you end up finding out the hard way. Well, to me, I think we do a disservice to ourselves as men, because I while women definitely probably face this too, I can't speak for them. And they have a million support groups to to have this conversation. Ain't too many men circles when we have this conversation, but it's I tell people all the time, when I first became a father, I was having panic attacks because of how my childhood was and how I didn't want to do the things that my father did. I was focusing on what he did wrong, not on what he did right. And I was like, Lord, I don't know what to do. And I start talking to other gentlemen. Really and truly, it comes from a desire not to fuck up my kids.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that I'm fucked up, but I definitely had some tendencies, and I think that they were directly connected. So I was afraid of doing it to my kids, and sometimes we get in our own way. We let our anxiety get in our own way, and pride, where you don't want to ask anybody anything, but nobody knows what they're doing. We all start at square one, and like with the example you were talking about, with I'm trying not to say his name, that example. I think we put too much pressure on the role that we've taken on. We had these, you know, I'm I'm this. I'm husband. I'm father. I'm the man of the house. I'm a leader. And the reality is we don't know what the fuck we talking about. We don't. We just know these titles. And the fact of the matter is that nobody's situation is exactly the same. While you may be looking at somebody's career 10, 15 years in, Warren, they looking at you like, man, Warren looking good. He got his head on his shoulders. He doing stuff for the community, for the culture. He got the podcast going on. He's married. He got his niece. Like, they're looking at you just as you're looking at them.
Man,
because they
comparison.
hate their lives. You said it yourself.
Bro, you know what's crazy? I'm gonna give you an example, bro. Like, I had this one, like, my wife has this friend that not a close friend or anything like that. It's somebody that she was friends with in high school, and she used to be a bigger woman, right? And
Oh,
and
she hot in the streets now. Go ahead.
and so the lady has lost a lot of weight, right? And so, everybody's like, "Yo, what the fuck is she doing? Like, she look good. She's doing everything. She's looking right, whatever." And so one of her friends from high school, I guess, inquired, like, "Yo, girl, you look good." You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you doing? You losing weight? She's like, "Yeah, you don't want to know what I got going on." She's like, "No, I want to know. Like, you slimmed down." Da, da, da. My girl said, "I'm doing crack."
Oh my God.
It's like, I'm addicted to crack.
Jesus.
But I say that to say is I say that to say when you start to compare that's always a dangerous game to play. You get what I'm saying? When you looking at other people as if they know how to do something that you don't know how to do, or they are, or they are successful in something that you don't know how to, like, you never know how they're getting whatever it is, that outcome it is that you desire.
Yeah.
And so, and so to get back to what Mikhail was saying is like, we all don't know what's going on. And when you look at it that way, then the playing field gets level. Regardless of what the outcomes may be, you can say, all right, I know regardless of how that person got there was some struggle. They didn't know what they were doing. They had to learn something. And that's what I have to do as well. That's the process that I have to go through as well. I do want to kind of touch on, though, when you talk about the unknowing, just the two things, like the internal pressure that you have as a man to just be that, because we talk about leadership, right? But like, I look at leadership from a standpoint, it's just really interesting to me, because like, I look at leadership, when I think of leadership, I always think about like job leadership, right? And what it takes to lead at work. And a lot of times people don't realize, like, that takes a lot of training, a lot of learning, a lot of hours put in. And when Mikhail said, he got anxiety just about being a father, is because they ain't no training. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no notebook that you can go read through. There ain't no guy. Like, you literally are an individual that is tasked to raise another individual that could be completely like you or nothing like you. That could have all your traits or all somebody else's traits, or the trait of somebody that you can't stand. Like, all of that, all of that bundled in, but you still have all of those pressures on you as a man to lead this. You know what I'm saying? To lead whatever is going on. And so I think about the societal expectations, the fixer mentality that men have to have, and the pressure sometimes that we have to be in control. You know what I'm saying? That like that we it's a desire sometimes, but it's also a pressure. Like it's also a like, okay, in some situations the woman's gonna look at you like, now what do we do now?
Yeah.
And you're
Right.
and you're and you know, we've all as men, we've all been in this situation like, all right, babe, what are we gonna do? And you're like, bruh.
You putting this shit on me, huh?
Yeah, and I gotta figure this shit out, right? And
You was Miss Independent 5 minutes ago.
but all of a sudden we got to make that decision, right? We have to, and the crazy part about it, what you're saying is the you have all the pressure, but then what's in that what you don't know, and how does that manifest in how you show up?
Yeah.
You know, and I think I want to talk about that a little bit, like because there's a bit of anxiety in that. There's not a bit. There's a lot of anxiety in that. And what does that look like when a man is in a space where he's doesn't know and has to still show up?
I will say this, that just coming from what I was saying, my perspective, how I approach fatherhood, I think the majority of the pressure was I could not envision failing and being successful, if that makes sense. Like, like with most men are solution oriented, right? Your wife come home, she telling you about something that happened, and you be like, well, babe, why don't you do this, that, and the third? She's like, Nick, I just want you to listen. Right?
Fix
yeah, we fix.
Yeah.
And what I've discovered is with things that we put a lot of pressure on, such as being a husband or being in a house or a father, you don't think you have a chance to get it right if you mess it up. And like with everything else in the world, or with the example that Warren had with the plumbing, yeah, you could put a hole in a pipe, but you definitely can fix that, right? And that's what it really boils down to. We put so much pressure on ourselves that if we mess up, will our wives see us as less? Will we see ourselves as less? Therefore, we're failing and we can't get right. And I don't know if now that I'm talking about it, I don't know if we are approaching manhood the appropriate way.
Hey, talk. Let's hear that. Let's hear that. I want to hear that. You said we're not approaching it the right way.
Yeah, I don't. Well, it's certain behaviors like old girl smoking crack. That's not advantageous, right? But yet she's getting results. And maybe she's not really actually trying to get results. That's just a side effect, right?
It is. It's a side effect. But everybody saw the result.
Everybody sees the result. Yeah. And so that's what I'm sorry. I don't want to laugh at it, but
I really thought he was gonna say coke. He hit me.
I thought he was gonna say cancer treatment. I thought it was gonna be something horrible.
Whole girl said, "I'm on crack."
Right. So that was completely from what I thought. So I was caught the hell off guard. For real. My God, let me get my mind right. Anyway, so for me, now, not then, but now I approach manhood from a space of I don't know. I don't know, but I can find out. The ability to admit that you don't know, but the wherewithal and empowerment to say that I'm going to find a solution. And ever since I kind of adopted that approach, being a husband and a father and a man in the house has been really enjoyable. Like, I'm not a plumber, but I sink in the laundry room. I went online, YouTube, figured out what kind of joint I needed, ordered it online, went and picked it up, made sure I had the right tools, came back, watched the YouTube one more time. I said, okay, pop. Even with HVAC, I needed help the other day.
Yeah,
but I didn't need help changing out the capacitor. over in the AC unit outside when that bitch failed on me. You know what I'm saying? Like but I'm saying like it's my wife and the kids were like, Daddy, it's hot. And I'm like, shit, I ain't got no money. You know how much an AC repair costs?
No,
and
it's real.
No, I gotta tell you this. So when this little part is not working, I thought I had to replace the whole fan motor. So you know the thing that cuts on, and I thought I had to. I was like, man, that shit like $200 itself. All right, let me figure out how to. So I'm looking and because I was researching and the algorithm was on my side, it put up another video saying your fan stopped moving. Is this getting hot and not cold? It's probably this, and it costs $13. Click.
Hey, hold up. Chill.
Hey,
that's how I make my money. Chill.
Hold on. But dig what I'm saying though. But it's the process of knowing. Is what manhood is. It's not that we have to know everything. It's the process of learning, so that we can do the things that we need to do. My house is cold as shit now. You know what I mean? I clean the coils.
Go ahead.
I did all that, you know what I'm saying? I did all that shit.
He said, look, we feeling the freon.
You get the fruit. You know, we in here. And last thing, my starter went out on my truck. Lord have mercy.
But I know you always talk about how your daddy gave you some of that.
All of this, everything that I'm telling you, I've seen my father do. He didn't say, you know, get the elbow pipe. I saw him go up under that sink. I saw him go into that HVAC system outside in our house. I saw him go into them cars. And it gave me the confidence to know that I can do it because I saw somebody do it. You know, if you just lean forward into the gift of being a man, and I say it's a gift in this society because it's a patriarchal society, right?
Yeah.
When you lean into the gift of being a man and you approach it from a place of, I'm going to learn as I go. What is the problem? All right, let me research. You know, the YouTube is just our old school library, digitized. There's so much content out there. Like you literally could probably, I mean, I don't know that there isn't anything that's not out there, but just to gain that knowledge gave me so much confidence. And so, you know, when I started talking to the professionals that do the work, they give me props for taking time to know it because they appreciate the conversation. They don't have to explain a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I think that definitely helped, you know, poke my chest out. And I think that's the approach that's probably going to be best for everybody, especially since we are not a blue collar community.
No, that's real.
You know, like you know, just
okay. So I like how you approach that, and I think that it's good to see an example of, you know, you not knowing, becoming or coming into the knowing, right? Like that's a good a good transition and a good way of going about it. But let's talk about when you go from not knowing till you still don't know. You get what I'm saying? Like you fail. You know what I'm saying? Or you're out here trying and failing, or you're trying to figure it out and you're not able to figure it out, or you feel as if you're not able to figure it out. Like, and what that looks like, and how do you show up when that happens? You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think it's this is where the knowing part, for the innate knowing stuff, you don't have to go outside to get information on. Yeah. You definitely need to understand your limitations and capabilities. Like, instead of just saying, like, for example, I put a starter in a truck. Okay, if the transmission go out, guess what I ain't gonna do?
You're not even gonna click on YouTube.
There's nothing. I understand my limitations and my capabilities, and that's what it really is gonna come down to. It's like, you know, there are certain elements of the world that require special tools and skills, and you got to understand the capabilities is a resources conversation. You know, I don't have a hydraulic press to lift the truck up to make it stable. Yeah, I can put it on 4 things, but then I don't have enough jacks to get up under the transmission so I can undo it. I don't have all these things.
Yeah.
It makes more sense for me to outsource. So it's still a level of knowing. It's just from the approach of, what are my limitations and what are my capabilities? And that's the best way to approach that part of it, because man, if you're gonna set yourself up to fail, that's gonna take a lot of your confidence away.
It's gonna tear you up.
It's gonna tear you up.
It's gonna tear you up.
So having an understanding and acceptance of knowing you don't know something.
That acceptance part, yes, sir.
Yeah, because I mean that I used to make this joke when I worked at this company called Soft Choice. One of my co-workers, colleagues, he was like one of the top people there. So he would come in late, do a little shit here and there, and he'd be like, "Hey Warren, come with me." And I'd be like, "Nah, can't do that." He's like, "What you mean? I do it all the time." I was like, "Hey bro, you one of the top guys at this location. You can afford it. But my black ass, I don't know what you for. They put me in the office like, hey, we gonna start this pip."
Right.
Like, bro, it ain't like that. I was like, okay, he don't get it. Like he doesn't get it.
Yeah, they don't know it.
Because of the work he's put in, they're willing to tolerate a lot.
Yeah, because he makes them money. That's right.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with that.
I made some, but I wasn't making what he was making for it. And I even told him, I was like, yeah, if I'm a manager, bro, Warren, bring your ass in. Don't you ever think you can do what he do. Until you start bringing in what he brings in, get your ass in there. Matter of fact, don't be on time. Be early.
I was just going to say that. Be early. Leave late.
But it's stuff like that. And then, I mean, as we get older, for the men out there, and this is a PSA. You ain't doing the same shit you was doing in your 20s and teens.
Limitations.
Understanding
that. Right?
Understanding the limitations.
You ain't played ball in 5, 6, 7 years. Don't touch shit. Don't you step your ass on that basketball court.
I made that
football field.
I made that mistake recently. For the kids, we got a basketball goal for the kid's birthday, and my daughter was like, "Come on, Dad, we're gonna 1v1."
Oh, I was
like, yeah, exactly. I still won because I still got it,
Yeah.
But the point is, bro, when I tell you getting the rebound, check balling, and trying to get past her, oh my God, my lungs were like, yeah, what the fuck
what is wrong with this man? What
are you doing? I even told her, I was like, hold on.
I
need a break.
I need a moment. Timeout.
I learned
that's timeouts in the game.
That's timeouts in the game. Foul. You just foul. Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. Like that, I learned my new limitation. Like I can come out there, I can play horse, but 1v1 with a 13-year-old, that's nuts. And I don't know. I don't think you can ever stop becoming a man. You know what I mean? Like I think you're just a man at a different stage.
Yeah.
And as long as you are still learning how to be the best version of yourself at that stage, that's a W. You know what I mean? Like it's something that will, keep the confidence. Because I mean, I'm not saying Courtney didn't have confidence in me before, but she definitely be like, hey, sister, shit I ain't never knew was a problem. She bring it up to me now. Yeah. Because she saw me fix all these other things. And
she's like, oh shit. The sink, that was light work. That's some goddamn, he's like, you do electrical?
Right.
Like, you don't know something about.
I gotta interject something right there.
It's like
before I forget, because you made up a good point as far as like growing and what's required of you.
Yeah.
So I make this joke to Whitney sometimes about, all right, when I was in my 20s, niggas come to you, ask you for advice on like getting women and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll never forget, me and my wife were I don't even think we were engaged at the time, but we were dating. We was moving into an apartment together, and I had some people who were interested in a certain organization help us move. So one of the young men, he's like, "Hey man, how long you been with your lady?" I was like, 3-4 years now. He's like, "Man, how you make that work?" And I was like, "Well, gotta be honest, blase, blase." All right, that was one. And that was like the first time somebody had ever asked me about like how to make a relationship work. So, I shared it with my wife and then one of my other homeboys, I was like, man, I'm used to niggas hit me up about how you get the chicks. And then slowly as time went on, more and more men started asking me, even women, hey man, so how do you have a relationship? How do you do X, Y, Z? Yeah. And in my mind, I'm like, hold on, y'all supposed to be coming to me about, pulling them, dog. Like, right. And it's like, oh shit. They don't look at me like that anymore.
No, bro, that's nuts, bro. Because, bro, to put it on the topic, bro, like to put it right on the topic is, I guarantee you, at one point you couldn't have answered that question. You get what I'm saying? At one point, I would
say some shit, but no experience at all.
I'm just saying, like when we talk about not knowing, right?
And
like,
coming into knowing,
yeah, coming into the knowing, and it's just like at one point you weren't able to answer. Because I'm thinking about myself, it's like, yeah, at one point I wasn't able to, I couldn't answer that question for anybody. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't give you that. But now, to be honest with you, bro, I was, and Mikhail, it's funny because me and Mikhail, I think sometimes we have parallel experiences. And the other day I had what I call a Mikhail moment. We're at this birthday party, this friend's birthday party. We sitting and somebody asked me a question. And I know, like, when certain questions that people ask you, they want good answers. And I'm like, guys, you know what this is going to turn into. Let's just enjoy the party. You get what I'm saying? But they didn't want to. They wanted to literally get into this conversation about like relationships and all this. And I was like, look, first things first, we're not doing the black men versus black women. We're not doing the, like, had to set the table. But the point is like at one point nobody would have asked me that. That's you get what I'm saying? And now, 11 years into my marriage and 11, now people really want to know, like, yo, what the fuck what's in the sauce? Like, what are y'all doing? Right. You know what I'm saying? And what are you thinking? Like, how to, the question was, do you think women or men are better active listeners? I was like, look, guys.
Oh my God.
I was like, look, you don't really want to know my opinion. Let's just kind of enjoy this party, take a couple more shots.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And because once we start talking about this, it's no longer a party. We go, it's gonna be.
This is a celebration, not what you try to do.
But it was cool because I think it warranted everybody was in a space where they wanted to have a conversation, right?
I think while it may have not been necessarily what you thought was the appropriate time, bro, like I always tell folks, you get it when you get it. Like you don't have to. Sometimes what you need to hear is not going to come the way you want it or where you want it. And, that to me has been one of my approaches in terms of,
you said something, dog, that was crazy, but that's what I just said.
What did I say?
Instead of pause.
No, give it pause.
How it come?
How it come?
How you want it?
Oh,
but you gonna get it. I'm sorry, viewing audience. I'm a child.
I'll take the giggity.
Grow up, man. Grow up.
No, don't grow up. That's the first step into the grave. Growing up.
Oh boy.
Oh God. Giggity. But that's why I'm thinking. It's like, it's funny. We were talking about how like we would go to strip clubs last time, and
last episode,
how they would come sit. And I promise you, I can sit in a strip club and I will know every horrible thing a man has done to that stripper, from their daddy to their current man.
Before you leave.
Before I leave.
Yeah.
And I didn't want that. I didn't think that this is what I was coming here for. But my conversation with her helped her make a choice that was probably better for her.
Yeah.
So it's not always in the ideal place
Yeah.
that
I get it.
and so I think that the conversations need to be had because so many conversations going the other direction have been had. And when we were talking about how to correct the red pill stuff, and I mean, I think that should be task number one in terms of leading in our community is to reverse this wild ass perception that black men don't like black women. I mean, of the black men that are wealthy, I
Shit's
think
nuts.
95% of them are married to black women. But for
That
some reason,
it's pretty
everybody,
high. It's a high number. They put it
yeah,
that
it
way.
like
It's a high
it's
number.
90, it's like 90 something,
It,
right?
and it's even higher amongst high earning black men as well.
That's what
Like
I'm, yeah, that's what I'm
that's
going
another
at.
piece of it. It's like that's because the conversations are based on men that make a certain level or a certain
Certain
caliber. Why
dollars,
they
yeah,
always want why do they always but the reality of the situation and I tell people all the time, read the census.
right.
Don't goddamn watch TV. TV is TV. They what's on there and I don't be wanting to like offend anybody, but if you're listening, to be arrogant enough to think that you think about what you think because you think it is crazy as hell. Like
Mm-mm.
the reality of the situation is the television, the media, they're telling you what you think.
Right.
And the when you start to have these conversations, that's why I always say go read the census, because what you'll see is a narrative completely different. Completely different.
But to me that's where we need to be in terms of leading our house and our communities. We got to start breaking out, dispelling these myths, and that's not just to the women. I'm talking about saying this stuff to black men, because they're repeating these narratives that have been authored for them, in a way to kind of justify their shortcoming as it relates to why they're single or why they out here cheating, hoeing, or whatever you want to call it. Reality is that none of the stuff that you're talking about is true, and you're making a personal choice to be the man that you've become.
I like that. I think it's funny. I speaking of choices, I saw some on Instagram the other day that I think was really really it it was enlightening, but it speaks to this topic of like not knowing, because I think that when this we're speaking on kind of getting the youth to understand a little more than what is put out there from society. I think that a part of not knowing comes with the younger folks making what is considered the wrong choice, or
Mhm.
not making choices at all, like kind of flying off by the seat of their pants. And what this guy said which in my opinion was really thought provoking. He goes, "Look, when you're young, even when you don't know, you can make a choice." And he was like, "When you make the choice, you will learn something from that choice.
Mhm.
You will know whether or not it's the right choice for you or the wrong choice for you,
Almost immediately.
almost very quickly." He's like, "But then what you have, because you're young, is the opportunity to make another choice."
That's right.
And I think that that's something that we have to kind of embed as we're talking about not knowing, because I think
I
what
like
comes
that.
with not knowing is sometimes you freeze. Sometimes you feel like you can't do anything. Sometimes you don't know which direction to go. But if you take a direction and you realize that's not where you want to go, you can make a choice and turn around right then and there.
That's right.
And I think that that's a part of the conversation that we just need to add on.
I
It's like,
mean,
look,
I think that's a lifelong option. Like,
yeah,
especially like with the stuff that's happening. I have a couple of clients that used to work for the federal government, um, 20 years. I think the other one's like 24 years. The other one was 20. So they were close to getting to retirement
mm-hmm.
when they got wiped out. And now they're at a stage where they're reinventing themselves, or we're in the process of helping them reinvent themselves, because ageism is a thing. So the job market sucks for them. So it's kind of like, okay, well, what do you do? Well, you got to become a new you. You know, you relied on what you used to do for 20 years. However, what we are now is you did have skills. What can you turn that into? So reinventing yourself. So it's like the choice to stay with the federal government for that long, now looking back, may or may not have been the right choice. To your point.
Well, it depends on what their next choice is.
It depends on what the next choice is, but you have a choice to make. Yeah. That's the part that is more salient than anything else. It's like, because there are people that hate their jobs, like Warren was talking about, they don't have to keep working there. They could change they could change their minds. And I think people just get to the point where they think, oh, I'm too old to be. Listen, you dead when you're too old.
What you know what, how it fits into this conversation is that the reason people don't make those choices is the unknown. It's the fear.
It's the fear.
It's the fear
of fucking up and you can't fix it.
Yeah.
The devil you know versus the devil you don't.
Yeah. I mean, and you got to speak to like men who are in that space. Like what does that look like for a man to be in a space where he's afraid of what's next or what's the unknown or what he wants to do next? And how, and I also want to talk about how we show up, meaning when we're in that space, the anxiety is a part of the process. If you're married, if you have kids, if you have people depending on you, what does that turn into? Something like I want people to get an understanding of what that looks like for a man. Because I know we can identify it because we've all been there. But like for people who are dealing with men and don't know, like, damn, he may be in this space. You know what I'm saying? And this is why he's acting like that. Or this is why he's, lashing out this way.
Right.
Like, what does that show?
So you're looking at what you're looking for the symptoms of a man in a space where anxiety is taking control.
Yeah.
And it is going to be different for everybody, but for the most part, for men, we become extremely antisocial. We isolate because part of our fear is that somebody will see that we're afraid. So we would rather isolate, or we will put on a false face. Going out to party, going out to drink, ha ha ha. Mikhail's so fun. Can't nothing be wrong with him.
Everything's good.
Everything's good.
Yeah.
Never had problems. No day is an ass, type of day. And not in a positive way. You know what I mean? Like it's just so it typically though, one of the things that does kind of across the board is that we do isolate. So if you find that you can't reach Warren, Mikhail, or Sam when you typically could talk to them, and it's like 5, 6, 7 consecutive days like that, there's something going on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Warren be texting us, and sometimes he'd be like, hey,
what the fuck is up? Y'all doing me like that?
Yeah, right. That's how you do.
I'm not gonna lie, I love that because it makes me laugh. It makes me laugh. But it's the funniest part about that is it do be shit going on, right? It do be shit going on, and that's a part of why like we may not respond the way we want to respond, or we may not,
I don't want to lie to you. I don't feel like lying.
Exactly, right?
That's what it really was. I don't feel like lying, so I'm gonna get back at the brother. I love him, but I just don't feel like lying. I can't. Whatever I'm going through is too great to lie about, and I don't want to offload it. On you. You just being a kind heart checking in. I don't want to ruin your day.
Now, I have to interject there, my brother, and this is for anybody out in the audience listening right now. So, situation when I got married, it was a COVID wedding, so short list. But there was also invites to where we could have the reception at. And one of my line brothers who stayed in New York at the time, I didn't send him the invite to come to the reception because I was like, bro, you in New York, I don't want to invite you, just for a reception. And Whitney had told me like, hey, you should let him know. But I'm like, bro, I don't want him to come all the way out here for me. But I hit him up, just let him know, hey, it's there. So he gets there and he's like, I felt a certain way. You didn't tell me earlier. And I was like, well, I didn't want to put you in a position where you came down for just the reception.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I understand where you're coming from, but that's not your call. You should at least give me the opportunity to be there and let you know if I can or can't come.
Right.
Like, you my brother, I love you, I care about you. Like, but in my mind, I was like, bro, I don't want to put this pressure on him. I don't want to do this. And it was just like, ever since then, and I know us as men have that, to whereas we ain't trying to put this on somebody else. Hell, one of the most challenging situations I've been in, 2-3 years ago, like, I ain't want to put Mikhail in it, but it was just guy that called, told me, like, yo, talk to this man before you do some stupid shit. Like, talk to this man before you do some stupid shit.
Yeah.
But it's just one of those things to whereas I feel we as men, especially if we have somebody we trust, like, it's okay. My brother, can I share this with you? Like, it's some deep shit, but I'm tired of carrying it by myself. I ain't even asking you to help me with the situation. Just allow me to vent so I can get it out of my system. Like, in a year or two, we'll have a podcast on something serious that, I'm challenging life through right now. But, I talked to Mikhail and I talked to Sam about it. I've talked to, my line brothers. My wife and I have had a conversation. Each time I speak about it publicly, I'm better and better because I'm not just holding it all in. So I ask all viewers, like, especially the men, because I know how we are, at least allow somebody the opportunity to offload what you got going on. And if they ain't able to receive it, that's fine. But at least, present that opportunity, because you never know. Like, they could say something, they could do something, they could look out for you. It's been times when I've been dead broke and I just shared my story. I ain't asked for nothing. Brother just hit me like, hey, bro, what's your cash app? Hit like 200, bro. Like, it ain't much, but hell, when you down bad, 200 was like 2,000.
Yeah.
So,
it's everything.
It's been people that didn't hit me up, going through it. They ain't asked me for a fucking dime, but I sent money their way because of what that brother did for me way back then, to where it's just, and I know what it meant. So it's just, I just want to throw that in there to, obvious.
No, I mean, that's real, man. And I think the essence of it is that's a part of becoming. That's a part of being a man, is now, even when you're in those spaces of not knowing, being able to reach out to one another and to speak to someone, because what Mikhail said is isolation is what you do. You know what I'm saying? And so once you talk to somebody, it helps you to get out of that space and then it also helps you to make a decision. It also helps you to make a choice and to move forward. And I think that ultimately is when you really package it up. Although that men, we're in a space where we want to be in control, where we want to fix everything, where we want to be strong. The reality of the situation is, we can't fix everything, but we can learn some things. We're not always going to be in control, and sometimes knowing that you don't know is a part of being vulnerable. And that is the essence of when you talk about doing manhood backwards. If you come at it the opposite way, that's the essence of what it means to be a man and continue, because you never really stop. What Mikhail said, you never really stop. You start you learn more and more. You're gonna, Mikhail didn't know how to fix a capacitor yesterday, and today,
multimeter.
I
can tell you know what I'm saying?
I got multimeter.
Yeah, bro, I'm cold, bro. I'm cold with it. You know what I'm saying? You know you fucking with it. I will say this, just I'm a nerd for real. I love knowledge.
To learn.
I love to learn. I love it. I love it. And it used to be because it'd be like it's in your face to the world we live in about black men. It used to be that. because I was like, I'm gonna show you motherfuckers, try to put me and Oprah in special ed. But it's I don't know. It's a moment of I'm proud now. Like it's a moment of where I'm proud. It's a moment where I thank God for my father, not for what he wasn't, but for what he was, and how that has helped me work towards being, a comprehensive man. We talk about Jason's book a lot, but that's real. Like I spent part of my life becoming emotionally intelligent. I spent part of my life becoming tactically intelligent, tactile, be able to use my hands and do good works. And it has helped me model for my son and my daughter. You know what I'm saying? So it really fills me with joy to learn something new, because I feel like I can impart it to my kids, or at least show them that they can do it too. By, like I didn't tell Miles to come outside when I was working on the AC unit. All he knew is that it's hot. And I said, Nah, Dad, it's cold.
Yep.
It sure is. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. That's it. And now he's like, I want to cut the grass. Oh, now you want to cut the grass. Because he's seeing it and he's at that age. But man,
it's modeling that
it's modeling.
well-roundedness.
That's it. And that's what I think, is needed in our community. Like we definitely got edge. We know how to do edge, but do you know how to do round? You know what I mean? Do you know how to come around that curve? You know how to curve it? Do you know how to manage? You dig what I'm saying? And I think that's something that communally we could talk about in terms of going forward, because obviously we are getting into a space where we're about to be less integrated.
Yeah.
And I think we should just take advantage of the opportunity to fix what ended up being broken in the 60s.
I mean, and the beauty of what we have now that we didn't have then, because back then they were really in the unknown space.
Yeah, unknowns.
Now what we have is we have people like Mikhail who can, anything Mikhail makes his hobby, he will know everything about it. I'm just being real. Like anything Mikhail makes his hobby, he will know everything within a week, 2 weeks, maybe. Like
going crazy.
I'm just being real. Mikhail, we went from both being kind of into guns, and I'm still into my gun, to Mikhail building guns. It's like, okay, well, I ain't quite there yet. Like, I'm gonna go to the store. But Mikhail's like, nah, fuck that. Like, I just figured it out and put this shit together. You know what I'm saying? And so, he got a couple bills that he's made.
I'll tell you what's funny. I was thinking about making bullets too, making rounds. I was looking because it's a science. It's a science to it. Like it's and I tell people all the time, like some people and not harping on the gun thing, but people will buy guns. Say they buy a 9mm, right? They bought a 9. Everybody know what a 9 is. And then you be like, well, did you buy bullets? Yeah. Well, what kind of bullets you bought? 9mm. No. Like what grain? Was it 115 grain, 140 grain? I don't fucking know. I said, but this is what guns are really about. It's not really the pistol, it's the bullets. It's the rounds, the size, the grain of the bullet that makes the difference in the performance. Some bullets are made for target practice. They're typically lighter weight. The guns that are meant to defend and to hunt with are the heavier weights. And a lot of folks don't know that. But I wouldn't have known it if I kind of stopped at, I just bought a gun, bought a box of bullets. Yeah. So I always, for me, I never liked the opportunity to be told you don't know what you're talking about, because historically that has been a racial trigger for me. in our society, because it'd be some white man telling me, boy, you don't know what you're talking about. And then I come back around and show them I can, and that whole life, IBM, everything has been tied to that experience. So, all right, so what? I know I learned everything I can. So what?
No, bro. No, man. I think it's ironic because we're talking about not knowing.
No, yeah.
And here comes this nigga Mikhail. I'm kidding. I think that's the beauty of in the process. It's like we can go from
Boy, you sound like you underwater.
Yeah, fix your mic.
Oh man.
There you go.
No, I said it's about going from that not knowing to knowing.
Yeah.
And so it's like what comes along with that is, what happens in the in between. And you don't want to lose yourself in that space. In the in between, you don't want to be isolated. You don't want to be, upset and angry for no reason. Just know that, like, look, go back to what Mikhail said at the beginning. We all trying to figure this shit out.
That's right.
And that's the long and short of it before we wrap, fellas.
Get your YouTube premium account and man up. And man the fuck up.
What you got for us, Warren, before we wrap, man?
I just want to say, reach out, utilize your resources. You're not in this alone. You got people you can depend on, people who love, people who care about you. Like, hey, you're not in this fight alone. Like, reach out. That's all I got for you.
That's real, man. And at the end of the day, man, I'll say this for those that are just stuck in a space where, you know what, you don't know what to do and you don't know what decision you need to make. I'll just say, just make a decision. And if at the end of the day, nobody dies and nobody goes to jail, you've done okay. And that's just the way to look at it.
It's a win.
It's a win, and you can live to make another one another day. Look, folks, fellas, women, for more conversations like these, it's You Good Bro Podcast on Instagram, YouTube, You Good Bro Pod on Twitter. Please, please, please like, share, and subscribe. Share this conversation. I had a good time with this conversation. I appreciate you, Warren, for bringing this up to the table, because I'm sure this is going to bless a lot of folks. With that being said, I'm Sam Dupe and I'm good.
Hey, I'll tell Mikhail and I'm good.
I'm Warren P and I'm good.
And just like that, we are gone.
Trump.